first start and then let's start. Yeah. Okay. And let's start. We have a lot of items today. And so, Reno, do you want to start your first topic? I noticed that you have the 2 topics today. We cannot hear you. Are you? Okay. Okay. Then, since Reno can have to rejoin, let's start another one. Paula, do you want to talk about the SATCOM operator? Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. The first topic is really, I think, like, it looks like I was just trying to bring awareness of the PR. I think, like, we can skip it. There's nothing else to be discussed on this one.
Okay. So do you want to pick up your next one? Next one is the make a pod, the resource API GA. Oh. We've been in the beta release for the I think for last couple release since like the 1.15 already.
Yeah,
beta.
I'm happy to pick up this one too. This one should be fairly easy. I've linked to the PR to change their resource to GA in the notes. As you mentioned, I think some of the bigger arguments is that pretty much the API has been GA since 1.15 and has seen very little change in terms of API. So it's actually like it's seen 0 changes since the first alpha in terms of API. So we have a stable and mature API. It's been running at like a few CSPs and customers for, I want to say, at least 1.15, if not before. And we have a few exporters. I've linked to one of them, which is the DC gem exporter for NVIDIA's use case. In terms of whether it's stable, whether it's high quality, there's been there's a good unit test coverage, and we've got a few node end-to-end tests. And I think the objectives of the original KEP have been achieved in that it will allow us, and it does allow us to deprecate accelerator or device-specific knowledge from the qubits, which is the topic that we discussed in the previous meeting. In terms of next step, if this is something that people are interested in, I will need to update the KEP to match to the latest format. What I think the general question I want to figure out is that I think we already missed the 1.19 feature window. So is that something that we want to file an exception for, or is that something that we are fine with just having it in 1.20, which is the next one, not this one?
I don't think about, at least I don't have any concern to promote this to GA. Anyone else have the concern? It is in the, at least in NVIDIA production for, if I remember correctly, it is almost 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So
it's definitely time to get it to GA.
Yes, and is there any people's concern? If there's no concern, I think we at least we all agree to promote this to GA.
That makes sense to me. I will say, if we do not choose to ask for an exception, we should still be able to do all of the work with respect to the KEP and some of the other changes you were suggesting, Renaud. We just can't flip the one-line feature flag change.
Yep, I mean, definitely I think that's completely reasonable. In terms of work, I'm hoping that my PRs will be ready and passing the CI in either today or tomorrow.
Then according to the exception, filed exception, is the like the urgency, we have to make that GA in the 1.19. It's up to you. You know, if you want to file the exception, because then you need to prove there's the why we need this one in the 1.19, right? There's the any reason. Obviously, we believe there's no risk, and should be fairly straightforward. But is there any urgency? We have to promote this to GA. We should promote this to GA a while back, but we missed. And is the early engine? Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around if there's a way to explain urgency. To me, it's more of something that's from a customer perspective. It makes it easier to advertise that we're using GA features, but I don't think that it would, like, I'd have to think through a bit more if there's a way to detail why we would need an exception.
Sure.
So I don't have a good answer to that question right now.
Okay, so please just, I will leave you make the decision and to file, but sounds like let's just say, oh, we all agree and promote this to GA based on current status, and here it is the condition and change the cap update and also all those kind of things and list there, and then we carry on that work. Is that okay?
Yep, thank you very much.
Okay, let's move to the next topic. Paula, do you want to drive in the conversation on the setcomp operator?
Yeah, sure. Can I share my screen, please?
Yes, maybe add you as the host.
Brilliant, thank you.
Just 1 second.
Excellent, thank you. So, hi, it's Paulo here. I'll be talking about SecComp operator today. We rose this point, I think, about a month ago, and pretty much is kind of patched to SecComp going to GA now on 1.19. So those 4 handles are the key people working on this at the moment. And first, I wanted to kind of highlight why do we need a SecComp operator. So at the moment, for people trying to use custom SecComp profiles, they need to manually copy files across all their nodes. And as their cluster scales up and down, they need to make sure that those files are copied and are kept in sync, which again, it's quite a bit of work. There is also no in-memory representation of those profiles. So it's quite hard for people to, script that in such a way that they can do the same way across different clusters and different workloads. We also lack a medium to share SecComp profiles for known, workloads in the community. So, for example, if you're using WeaveWorks Cured and you have a SecComp profile for that, it's really hard for you to go and share that with other people across the community that might be using the exact same workload, but they don't have a SecComp profile for it. We also lack built-in metrics for SecComp usage, so it's quite hard for you to tell which pods are using SecComp, which one of those that are using SecComp were actually used, were applied because it was the default, or which ones you changed yourself on your workloads and so on. And I think the last point, which is also quite important, is that ideally with operator for SecComp, we can guide users towards a more strong default on their clusters. So in terms of like roadmap, we're pretty much keen on getting an MVP that does the basics. So it makes it easier for people to start using custom seccomp right away. So with that, we will automatically synchronize the profiles across all nodes. We'll make sure that they're not only synchronized, but if a specific profile is tampered with, we would log an alert on those things. Another thing is have in-memory representation of those profiles. So initially we would have a config map, but what we want to do is to get a flexible enough CRD that we can represent those profiles, and then be using that for other things across the community. And then in the future, the idea is to use the same place, so the second proprietor repository, to store community maintained and created seccomp profiles. So for example, people would be able to share and contribute to those specific profiles. They will also be able to define, how to apply, what would be the mapping for those specific profiles. Would that be using labels? Would that be using, image names and so on? Another thing that we're planning is metrics. As I said before, so you'll be able to tell what part of your workload is using seccomps and how was those seccomp sourced. Another very interesting point, which we don't have at the moment, is be able to fail closed. So for example, if you apply a seccomp profile to a given node, to a given pod, and that is running on a node that doesn't support seccomp at all, for example, or doesn't support a given action, you might have some issues, and for example, it might fail open. If it doesn't support seccomp at all, the pod would still run and no seccomp filters would be applied. So one of the features we want to provide is allow users the possibility to say, look, if my security controls are not applied, I don't want this workload to run at all. And the last point is pretty much just to highlight that a lot of these features could also be extended to AppArmor once we get AppArmor to GA as well. So here's, just a quick mind map that, of all the features that we've been thinking about and, the ideas that we're kind of brewing. We focusing at the moment on the orange bits, which is like synchronizing those profiles, and the next things will be the ones marked in yellow. The reason why we bring this up, so we're pretty much asking for a repository on Kubernetes SIGs, just to kind of benefit from the Kubernetes ecosystem and also to benefit from community support. So that would be quite good. And we also would like, for anyone keen to share, ideas, use cases, and also to help. We already have a channel on seccomp, which is seccomp operator. So, reach us out there. Anyone has any questions?
This is definitely really good stuff. And actually in the past, the people ask for, and not just for the seccomp and also the other thing for the security things. The question is, I have the two questions. One is which SIG actually really sponsor this project? Is the SIG auth? Is that true?
Well, so the reason why we brought it up here was because the seccomp became J through SIG Node. That's why we didn't raise this on SIG auth.
Okay, we definitely support this. I just want to say next because you, for example, you just mentioned that earlier roadmap. You are going to store in the seccomp profile for those like public container, and so I think what we need to have like some dedicated. You mentioned that the repository here, and my question is, so it is this completely sponsored by SIG Node, or it is SIG also actually from the security perspective and from other perspective, and they also sponsor this project?
We haven't presented that to them yet, but we can definitely do that as well. And if that's the only contention point, what we can do is we can scrap that for the time being, because at least the key features that we kind of want to provide, which is like synchronizing the profiles that the user has and providing an in-memory representation of SecComp, that could be quite useful, and that shouldn't be that contentious, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense to me. So the only things, the reason I ask for it is just from the security perspective, and we might want the SIG-auth also endorse and also approve. So that basically we tell customer this is the best guidance how you do those kind of things, and that's more from Kubernetes security perspective, right? So obviously this is really good things, because when you talk about how to enable those integration with the node, integration with the Kubernetes, enable those kind of things for the workload container, all those kind of things, obviously SIG Node want to support. I just want to say that the SIG Node, because this is really good feature many customers ask for in the past, but to advertise this as the Kubernetes feature and also what we are guide our customer to using, I think we need loop or sig-auth. That's my biggest comment here. Yeah.
Is it possible?
Okay, that's fine.
Can you share the actual presentation as well? Maybe put it into the SIG Node meeting minutes. I'm curious to look at the mind map a little bit closer, and I work a bit more on sandbox runtimes, so I just kind of want to dive a little bit more. When you look into, does a node support it versus does a runtime support it versus is this something that you want to apply it inside of a sandbox versus outside the sandbox and things like this. I think in general, this is more of a container level, not a pod level, is where you'd be applying the policy. And I want to make sure that if there are any assumptions that we kind of can break them a little bit, such that something like Kata or any other sandbox runtime can also leverage this. Because I think this is an area where someone's security conscious, they might be going down this route anyway as well. So,
yeah, that's brilliant. I just shared the link now, so have a look. If you have any questions, anything, just reach out.
Cool.
Cool. So just to confirm, then the next steps would be to bring this up to sig-auth, right?
Yeah, that's what I suggest, because make that it is the best utilize and advertise this feature. I think we also need to reach out to sig-auth, and obviously all those kind of once they are support sponsor, and to enable this kind of things, definitely it is on the SIG Node. So this is the brilliant idea, and many customers ask for, but just like Eric discussed, we need more iron out more details and how to do this one and apply, and so how to implement it. So I'm looking forward to design discussing more coming.
Brilliant. That is great. So well, we will do that going forward then. So thank you very much for everybody's time.
Thank you, Paula. That's the good stuff. Let's move to next topic. David, do you want to talk about the namespace UID in the CRI logging path? I think this is many years ago.
Yeah. So this is a topic that we last discussed many years ago. I was asked to bring this up by some folks at SIG Instrumentation. This is something that they're interested in. And basically, I think they just want to know if there are any concerns or other people who are also interested in having namespace UID available to logging collectors. This allows you to uniquely identify a namespace across time, whereas right now, if you create a namespace with the same name, it's hard to differentiate those in the logging pipeline. So I just wanted to bring this up. It's something that we haven't done because the kubelet doesn't currently watch namespaces, so we don't have access to the namespace UID, and it would require each node to watch all the namespaces.
So this topic brought up when we first initially designed CLI, because that time we want to change unload on disk login path. So then there's the legacy. There's the legacy for the Docker initial log path. There also have one vendor, if I remember correctly, also Red Hat, OpenShift. They also have some legacy stuff. So we try to take care of the legacy first, because we don't want to we don't want to roll out the CLI, but to create the production regression for our user. So that's why we deprioritize this. So then we lost the track about this one. So CLI already been out for long time, and both container runtime and initiate native support of the CLI also out at GA for a while. So now is the time to reopen this topic. So David, did you follow up? Did you remember what it is besides the legacy region? Is there any other concern we have that before? I forgot. I only remember those legacy regions, so we deprioritize.
Lantau left a comment a while back that was fairly helpful. It basically just said that we didn't want to do namespace UID for now because that might introduce scalability concerns. It sounds like people are generally, I think the other problem is that there are limits to how long a file path can be. And there are concerns that adding more and more stuff to the path would cause us to hit that. So I think it sounds like we're generally supportive of the idea in concept, but we need a concrete proposal for how to do it and how to measure scalability and ensure that we don't ensure that it's actually all right to add more things to the path or propose a different method. Does that sound reasonable? I'll go back to the guy who opened the issue, and I won't be driving this, but I can let them know what the next steps would be.
Yeah. Okay. Who is going to in SIG instrument? Who is going to driving this one? And also, is there any today's the production region people racing and want to start to open this one and driving this one?
So actually, the person who, I was asked to bring this up by Frederick from Red Hat. So I assume it's for a use case that they have. And it looks like the person who's driving this is the same person who opened the original issue back in 2018 or 2017.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. That's all.
Okay. So we are. So I think the more to add, like the second things you just mentioned, like more to add to the path, and the path not actually too long. Also, is one concern I can say. Right here. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. I think we just talk about the pod resource API GA, and Alex, do you want to talk about the next topic for the NUMA typology?
Hello, it's Alexey, and we published enhancement proposal to SIG scheduling regarding topology-aware scheduling, and they met it positively, but they asked us about the daemon which are responsible for topology in resources. And now we need to define where to place the daemon. It's a standalone daemon which should collected by CRI interface. Probably we do not need to modify kubelet. Definitely it should not be in the private repository, and it should be under Kubernetes governance. But exact place is not yet defined, and it's better to find out where to keep it. So I would like to ask such question. Probably it should be under SIG Node responsibility. I mean the daemon which are responsible for providing resources with topology. Now we are in the process of preparing a cap for such a daemon, and maybe it will be more clear after that cap will be ready. So that's all from my side.
Alex, maybe just me. I couldn't hear you because your voice a little bit broken. Maybe the network discount issue. And so, but I guess you just ask where to you propose to add a daemon set to expose node resource related to the NUMA topology on the node. So you wonder where those will be repository it is. Do I understand correctly?
Yes, yes, that's true.
So I don't know what's the kind of the SIG-CF, the new binary rule, because in the past we do have like the place before we graduate to the GA, and like for example, like the CRI continuity for the CRI for continuity, and also CRI. And also we definitely have the, like for example, node problem detector. So it's under big Kubernetes. I think it's the Kubernetes. So, but there's the new policy. So I need to figure out what's the new policy. And we used to be like the in each big the Kubernetes, like the GitHub/Kubernetes and that domain. And then we have like the couple SIG Node sponsor project. So we could make this as a SIG Node sponsor project, and then so I need to figure out what's today's new policy, new procedure and process. Maybe there's the document. Someone must be familiar with those process. Let me, and please give some suggestion here. I just want to say in the past, because the CNCF and the Kubernetes community don't have process, so we basically signaled, we just make our process. So we used to be like, okay, SIG Node sponsor.
Which SIG Node is responsible for a new binary? Or which special interest group is responsible for a new binary?
We used to goes to each SIG group. At least that's a long time back. That's what I suggested to the steering committee. I believe that's old policy, but I don't know what the kind of policy it is. So it is once that's the old policy. It is just okay. We decided, but because there's too many SIG groups later, right? So the steering committee and also the CNCF defined the formal procedure. So and also that formal procedure being changed couple times. So I don't remember what's the latest procedure. So anyone, because we haven't sponsored new binary for last I think more than a year. So anyone knows this one?
Okay, it's not a problem. I got the direction, and I will find out it, I think, soon. Thank you very much.
So what's the scenario? Anyway, we can, this is a signal that we'll sponsor this one. So we can, yeah, please figure out, then we support to sponsor this project. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay,
and
Alex?
that's all. Yes, that's all from my side.
Okay. So next one, it is the non-root user containers and devices access. I think do you want to talk?
Yes, I can introduce the topic. My name is Mikko. I'm from Intel. I'm working with Sasha CAD on this topic. So my short presentation or document is in the meeting notes. So if you're interested in seeing what I have, please open the document. But basically, what we are seeking for input and feedback is what we found out that when trying to run containers as non-root user that are using devices, that's not possible, and then there seems to be like an obvious disconnect at the CRI-O containerd level, that the user ID and group ID are not correctly propagated from kubelet to the containers. And basically in my document, I'm walking through the context. So starting from the Kubernetes level, so the container user ID and group ID, they are basically specified by the security context, which provides the run as user and run as group user IDs and group IDs that get used by the container runtimes. The OCI specification specifies that for all the devices, you can also specify the user ID and group ID in the container namespace. These are like optional parameters. The CRI API correctly sees the run as user and run as group information. But then if we look at the CRI-O and containerd code, they simply pass the user ID and group ID information directly from the host devices, and they don't follow the run as user and run as group information that is specified by the security context for the pod. So that's kind of the summary and the context here. And next we move to this proposal. So we came up with two alternative solutions, and this is where I'm hoping to get feedback from the audience. So the easiest way to fix this would probably be that both CRI-O and containerd would kind of take some bad echo, I guess. Thank you. So CRI-O and containerd would then basically follow what is specified by the security context information and use this get run as user and get run as group information, and they take those as the input for the device user and group IDs.
That makes sense, right? It's something that we can directly fix in the runtimes. So I don't see an issue with this.
But then we were thinking about this other option. So if there are concerns, security related concerns, for instance, do we want to let the cluster admins to control the user ID, well, let's say the group ID, which group IDs can actually use these devices? We came up with this alternative B here, which would then include like involve, well, let's say involve fixing and changes in more places. For instance, in the device plugins API and kubelet side as well. This alternative B is basically such that this device plugin would let kubelet know about what is the desired group ID for that particular device, and then kubelet would then use or pass this device plugin provided group ID as the supplementary group for the container runtimes to use. But the easiest way to mitigate and fix this problem is obviously this alternative A, which is just to change the container runtimes to use get run as user and get run as group for the devices.
Yeah, this is really reasonable. Thanks for the shared problem with us, and this is reasonable. And I think so Manu, you are going to driving from the cryo perspective, and
Yeah.
you need
So,
some, yeah.
I think only concern is like we should clarify what security issues might be if we just do it by default, outline it, and then we may need some auth or something about to.
I would just think about is how easy could driving at the CLI level instead down to if we driving on the CLI level, so then basically apply any container runtime, because two signal does endorse the graduate GA and obviously can be driving, but there's also people, since we announced the CLI, so the people implement their own CLI implementation just for their own. So should we driving at the CLI level directly, so all the container runtime? I don't know. So how to enforce that one? So
I think everything seems to be in place on the CRI level, as far as I can understand. So it's basically just like an implementation detail that this information that is provided by the API is correctly used.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. So, like what Manu said, this is just one of those the security related things at the CI and the container runtime. So maybe we should coordinate, and so who is going to on the container D is going to drive in this effort? I think someone earlier want to say something. Sorry.
Well, it's probably me who was trying to say something. I was just trying to say what we have two options. We fix it on container runtime level, like container D and cryo, but it will be some, I would say, like assumptions, which is like if somebody else will be implementing a new container runtime, we again will step it on, unless well, it will be some common code sharing. If we do it on the kubelet level, it will require changes to the device APIs, but with CRIs and all these other interfaces, it will be transparent. So it's more a question is actually where we want to put this functionality, where we want to put those assumptions.
This feels like it belongs to the container runtime, right? Because it's what is setting up all the permissions and everything in config.json. I'm more concerned about whether this should be allowed by default or not, and if we should, I mean, if there are any security implications of that. But setting it seems like something that should be done in the container runtime.
Yeah, we just have a bit of missing information between the device plugin and the container runtime. So device plugin just says what, like this device can be used for this particular container, and it can be like read, write, and create operation. But that's it. It doesn't provide any other information. And container runtime does all other assumptions based like with permissions, ownership of a device node, and so on.
Yeah.
So if we have understanding what it's better to do it on container runtime, when we need patch for CRI-O and somebody from container to actually also help driving this patch on container D level. So, I think both of the code is quite similar, so it probably will close one patch.
I think that's okay, but let's just come back to this next week and make sure that security-wise, if we need to address something, if we should just blindly be applying this or not at the container runtime is my worry. So,
do you have anyone in mind who can help with reviewing the security aspects?
We can do a review from the Red Hat side. I'll just talk with some security folks here.
Okay, so Mino, how about I expect you can driving from that one, from in general container runtime perspective, and also talk to the security folks about this one, and represent that. So now we are going to find the people also driving from the container D perspective. Is that okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, cool. So then we come back next week about this topic.
Just so I understand, this is populating the config.json properly is kind of the gap. I'm just trying to understand from like an actual runtime, OCI runtime, we're receiving. Okay.
Yeah, so setting the UID for the device node.
Eric, right now it's just copying whatever is present on the host name system. So like if like in different distros, for example, like for GPU, where video group is, it will be different.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So maybe you also want to touch base with Reno. Hopefully, I'm not sure. I didn't see Reno still here. Maybe he just left.
Yeah.
So part of that device things, actually in the past, we did talk. And so they, I remember that time, they basically want us just simply passing entire of the pod security context to the device plugin. And they want to take from there. And so maybe I forgot the legacy reason why they want those things. Maybe it's just velocity. Then that's simple. So because we finish all those kind of things, we roll out the device plugin long time back. So then we need to solve pending issue, right? Open issue. So, but I'm not sure. Maybe there are some other issues behind the thing. If I remember correctly, we do have this discussing at the SIG Node long time back. And another thing it is, I think about if we fix this problem, we agree. I hope we can add test. And so then that if we decided at the end, just container runtime, and people add new container runtime, they could be based on those kind of things. Then CRI, because CRI API is there. And based on the CRI API, we need to add the CRI level test to validate, perform those things. That's all.
Yeah, CRI test can be modified. Yeah.
Yes. So let's move to next topic. Thanks, Mano, for take care of this one, driving this one. So there's people want to talk about the CRI testing in GCP, like the Fedora. Okay, this is the follow-up for last week. More tests, yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah, so this is the follow-up, like we got a go ahead from SIG Node for having the test cases for CRI-O, right? And to take all the advantages of the CRI-O's capability, we want to run it on a Fedora 31. The trouble right now we are having is all the test cases in Pro, they use official GCP images. And so no particular project is actually hosting images of their own. So they use standard Ubuntu COS images. So the trouble, what we are blocked right now on test cases like this, I'm just pasting something in chat, is that we want to be able to have Fedora 31 image hosted somewhere in GCP publicly. And I think since we are going from SIG Node, maybe from SIG Node, if there are any accounts, GCP accounts that we use for testing, maybe they can host the Fedora 31 images, and I can, if I have access to such account, I can push the image and maintain them there. So yeah, I just wanted to bring this up here because we are not able to make any progress on pushing test cases for Creo at all because of this.
Yeah. So in the past, actually, David, can you help me on this one? Because we also have the host the other image, which is we create of the SIG Node the E2E test image project, and then we host some image. So I'm not sure the things can't change because then later we hand over this whole thing to the new team. So maybe we could discussing. I don't know what's the blocker for now. So
the blocker is I didn't know whom to approach so that we can push this Fedora 31 images.
Yeah, we don't know who has access to the accounts, and Victor doesn't have access. And SIG testing said that we should go to a SIG Node account for hosting. So if someone has access to the account, we'll be happy to do the work if we can get access.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, there's the people from the later we hand over to the SIG test. So the people from the SIG test definitely should have that access. So okay.
I went on SIG testing, SIG test weekly call, a bi-weekly call, and they said SIG Node should be able to help me out because they should own it, and there should be definitely some accounts that can be used. Also, they don't have any particular opinion about. They just so it's as long as SIG Node is good with this, they are fine by it. So I want to know, like, particularly all the test cases, the especially Pro ones are running from SIG Node's point of view. They are using some GCP accounts, right? So if there's someone who is handling them, maybe we can approach them and have the Fedora 31 images got in.
Yes. Okay. So let me take this back. And I also need to figure out who have access, so because obviously this is the because there's the this is the open source project and people come and gone, and also the internally also there's the reorg. So I need to figure out who have the access and then figure out who should have access at this moment, and then come back. So can we come back this one next week? I try to find who to talk to.
Sounds good.
We couldn't find the solution. At least find who is the contact person from Google side. Is that okay?
Yeah,
sounds good, Dana. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And we definitely should can solve this problem because in the past we host I mentioned that CoreOS image in the past and also some Debian image. We did so.
Thanks, appreciate the help.
Okay, so next one, let's Vino. Do you want to update of the in-place pod vertical scaling? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Don. Yes, so the in-place pod vertical scaling, I think it's code complete. All the planned coding tasks are done for alpha criteria, and we are working on. We did have an iteration of code review. David's sharp eyes found a couple of problems around locking and a few other issues, and those have been fixed. And I have I've created a new PR for directed towards the Kubernetes upstream master. So this can be broadly reviewed at this point, and I'll take as comments come in. I'll send fixes. I'm working on E2E tests now with Wang Chen from IBM, and we hope to get that done with the updated, pushed out June 20. It was June 25th. Now it's July 9th, I believe, code freeze date. So we should be there. So please take a look at this PR and have any comments. I'm happy to answer or fix them. So that was it from me. Hello? Hello?
Evening. Yeah, I can hear you. That sounds
Okay.
good.
Did I cut out or something in the middle?
No, not on my end.
Okay.
We could hear you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we could hear you. There's the, yeah. Somehow I just have the trouble to turn on this one. So any question on this one? Any? Okay, thanks Vinay, and for updates, and looking forward. This one is more moving forward already, and yeah, looking forward to try to run this.
Yeah, I think
Do you
if we
want
can ping Jordan, I've been pinging him on Slack, but Jordan Liggett, I think we want him to take a look at it. Is it at a point where someone can give a OK to test, so that it looks like the testing part of it is blocked on a Kubernetes member having to say OK to test, a member of the Kubernetes org? That at least that's what the bot has written in the PR history. So I just want to see if it. I obviously ran the unit tests and integration tests before sending any PR. I do check that. The E2E tests, I need to see if it passes without any regression. And I'm trying to set that up on my end. I got a GCP account yesterday. I'm going to work on that today and see if I can get the E2E tests to go without regression. Is this at a point where we can give it one testing pass from the CI system? Or do we need reviews?
I will just send to OK to test time.
Hello?
Yes, now we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to see if someone can give this an OK to test, or do we need do we need more reviews and comments on this?
Yes.
I have to run the E2E tests on my end.
Vinay, I just gave you OK to test, just while you are discussing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and somehow earlier there's the broken yeah. So now we are okay. Yeah. Any more questions?
Okay. No, I look into my internet connection, see if there's some problems.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, that's all for today. And any other topic people want to bring up quickly? We have 3 minutes. Otherwise, we just give back that 3 minutes to everyone. Okay, that's all. Next week we'll come back with the both topic. When it is non-root user containers and also the device access, and another one it is for the SIG Node E2E test, especially for add more image, where to host those images. So we come back next week. And another thing is the daemon, actual daemon, how to host that one. And it is being we need to figure out a new policy, so we can come back next week. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.